some fund research into ME, Myalgic Encephalomyelitis, I'm making my story, my ME story video. My name's Jackie, and I first got ME about 24 years ago. Now, at that time, I was very fit, active, a happy mum of 2 young children. I worked part-time in the sports centre. I used to run to work, and then in the afternoon I'd get my bicycle and cycle to school, put the children on the back of the bicycle and cycle them home. And I used to play badminton as well at the sports centre. And I guess because it's so many years ago now, I can say this without it sounding like I'm boasting, but I played really well. And so instead of playing in the ladies' league, I played in the men's league to get a good game. So I really was extremely fit, active, healthy and happy. And then I suddenly went down with something that seemed flu-like. And after many tests, it turned out that it was what the doctors termed a mutant type of glandular fever. And I just kept forcing myself to get back up and to try again, going to work, cook the dinner for the children. Just kept pushing and pushing, thinking, I'm not ill like this, you know. I don't have time to be ill. I'm never this ill, so I'll just work through it and get back. And in fact, one day I forced myself to go in and play a game of badminton. And I think that was my final mistake, really. I just collapsed then on the court and spent the next year or so totally bedbound. After that, another year or so probably housebound, and just feeling absolutely awful, laying in bed feeling constantly dizzy, and I had a real bad sensitivity to sound and light. And I had 2 young children, so you can imagine having sensitivity to sound. You know, I just had to try and close the bedroom door and ask them to go and play in the lounge or have somebody in to look after them. And it just stole my life away. ME stole my life. And it stole my children's mum. They were used to a mum that was always out cycling with them and walking and fun and playing games, and suddenly this mum had to lie in bed all the time and even shut you out of the room so she could have some peace. And I feel really badly for my children about that. Just a moment, get back on track. Yeah, after about 2.5 years or so, I started to feel a little bit better, and I just remember saying one day, take me out in the car, let's just go out for half an hour. And we all went out in the family for a little half an hour ride, and we stopped at the woods, and I sat in the car and just watched the kids and my husband get out and play around. And it was just like such a family outing. It was the excitement of going away on holiday or something, but for me it was just like half an hour out of the house. It was great for all of us. And it just went up and down from there. Sometimes I'd feel a little bit better, sometimes I'd be worse again for weeks or months. And I had to get people to walk my children to school and other friends to volunteer on a day-by-day basis to take them home, and it was just a nightmare, really. And then gradually I got a little bit better and a little bit better, and then one day I decided I'm going to try driving my car. And I phoned the school and I said I'm going to try and come down by car, and they arranged for me to park right at the door and to bring the children out to me. And I remember my young son, he was what, maybe 3 when I was first ill, so he was maybe 6 by then. He'd never seen me do that, and when he got in the car he was so excited and said, Mum, I never knew you could drive. So that's the sort of life I'd been living. Then after that, as I say, I was a bit better, and backwards and forwards to the doctors all the time, but other than endless blood tests, which didn't really show anything, they kept testing me for diabetes, for, well, all sorts of things. There was no real diagnosis. Nobody ever really turned around and said to me, well, you've got ME, this is how you deal with it, this is what to do. I think those years ago there wasn't even the knowledge that we have now. So, yeah, gradually I guess I learnt how to pace myself, how to rest and relax all day, to have those precious moments with the children when they came home from school and be able to be up for a little while then. And we got a wheelchair so that we could go out, and we'd go to the shopping centre sometimes together, and my husband would push me around in the wheelchair and the children would sort of run alongside. And then sometimes if I'd get out of the wheelchair and just have a little wander around inside a shop to look at things, I'd come back and find my son sitting in the wheelchair, surrounded by a gaggle of ladies asking him how he was and everything. I suppose the plus side of that is that my children grew up thinking that disability was a normal thing. They never blinked at anybody being in a wheelchair or being unwell or anything, so I suppose there's a little good that's come out of it. Gradually I've strengthened, so now I can walk about, the house, I can drive, I can walk a little. I find a trip round the supermarket really difficult, and if I'm doing something like that, it's only for the minimum few things, and I plan it, and that will be my one event of the day. And I find standing at the tills really difficult too, so mostly my food shopping's done online. They do it for me. What else can I tell you about my story? It's just ongoing absolute exhaustion. When I get tired and I've overdone it, my very worst symptom is dizziness, and it's something you just cannot fight. You have to lie down, and even laying down you're still dizzy. You can't sleep because you're too dizzy. I'm extremely tired. I get pains in my arms and my legs, especially if I've done something even like carrying a couple of shopping bags. Then the next day my arms are burning as if you just finished a workout, and I just want to get back to being myself. It's been so long. I've had a gradual improvement through pacing, but it's not enough. We need research. We need the government to fund research into ME to find out what the physical cause of it is, so that they can start to help us and maybe treat us and help give a much better service to people that become ill with ME in the future. So that's Jackie's story. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.